you ever wondered how the legend of the Wolfman came to be? Well, sit back, relax, and let me take you on a journey back in time, to the misty forests of old Europe, where tales of the Wolfman first began to take shape. Picture this, a world steeped in mythology, where our lupine protagonist was born out of fear and misunderstanding. See, wolves were a little misunderstood back then. They were simply trying to live their lives, hunting in packs, howling at the moon. But alas, their howling was mistaken for something much more sinister. Suddenly these innocent creatures were thrust into the limelight as the big bad wolves of folklore, and from there it was only a hop, skip and a jump to the legend of the Wolfman. A tale born out of the wild imagination of humans, and a little bit of wolfish miscommunication, and that, my friends, is how our furry friend got his start in the limelight. But how did the Wolfman evolve from a feared myth into a beloved pop culture icon? Well, let's take a stroll down the memory lane. The Wolfman's origins can be traced back to the age-old folklore of Europe, where he was a creature to be dreaded, a symbol of the untamed wilderness that lurked beyond the safety of human settlements. Yet even then, there was a certain allure to this wild, untamed creature. As centuries rolled on, the Wolfman began to appear in literature, his image shifting from a mindless monster to a tragic figure, cursed with a fate he didn't choose. The 19th century was a turning point, with Gothic literature painting him in a more sympathetic light. A bit of a brooding anti-hero, if you will. Then came the silver screen. The Wolfman's first cinematic appearance in the early 20th century was a game-changer. Audiences were both terrified and enthralled by this creature of the night. But it wasn't just the thrill of the chase or the fear of the unknown that captivated them. No, it was the Wolfman's impressively hairy visage that truly stole the show. Let's just say, the Wolfman was not a stranger to a full body wax. His unruly mane became a symbol of his wild nature, a stark contrast to the clean-shaven heroes of the day. It's said that the Wolfman's grooming routine was often the talk of the town, with a special comb for his luscious locks and a rigorous schedule of hot oil treatments. Talk about commitment to a look, and let's not forget the fashion. The Wolfman was a trendsetter in his own right. His unique blend of rustic charm and wild elegance set the bar high for monster fashion. Who knew that torn trousers and a fur coat could make such a statement? Thus, our hirsute hero found his place in the hearts of many, despite his somewhat unconventional looks. The Wolfman's evolution from a feared creature of the night to a beloved icon of pop culture is a testament to the power of transformation and the enduring appeal of the wild, untamed spirit. Did you know the Wolfman had quite a tumultuous love life? Yes, our Lupine legend was not exempt from the trials and tribulations of romance. Picture this, a moonlit night. The Wolfman, in his human form, is out on a date. He's charming, suave and sophisticated. He's got the charm of Cary Grant combined with the wit of Oscar Wilde. His date is smitten and everything is going swimmingly. But then, as luck would have it, a full moon emerges from behind a cloud. In the blink of an eye, the dapper gentleman transforms into a hairy beast. It's safe to say it put a damper on the evening. You might think, well, surely he learned his lesson. But love, my dear friends, is not so easily deterred. He would plan his dates on moonless nights, but even the best-laid plans of mice and men often go awry. Once he thought he'd found the perfect solution, a lunar calendar. But alas, his date had a surprise picnic under the stars planned. A romantic gesture, no doubt, but one that led to another hirsute interruption. And then there was the time he tried online dating. He thought, perhaps if they know in advance, they'll be understanding. So he put it right there in his profile. Must love dogs, and occasionally turning into one. Unsurprisingly, it didn't quite have the desired effect. But despite the mishaps, the Wolfman never gave up. He continued to put himself out there, braving the uncertain tides of romance, because he knew, as we all do deep down, that love is worth fighting for, even when the moon is against you. His romantic escapades may have been fraught with furry complications, but they were also filled with laughter, resilience, and a whole lot of heart. And so the Wolfman continued to search for love, despite the moonlit mishaps. What challenges did the Wolfman face and how did he overcome them? In his journey, the Wolfman encountered numerous trials, each one more formidable than the last. Imagine yourself in his shoes, or rather, his paws. You're not just a man, but a creature of the night, straddling the line between human and wolf, forever caught in the in-between. One of his most significant challenges was societal acceptance. Being different, he was feared and ostracized. People shunned him, not willing to understand his plight. But the Wolfman didn't let this deter him. Instead, he used it as fuel to rise above the ignorance, to prove that he was more than just a beast. He taught us that it is our differences that make us unique, that we should embrace them, not hide them. Another hurdle was controlling his transformations. They were unpredictable, often triggered by the full moon, but sometimes by anger or fear. The Wolfman could have let this control him, but he chose to take charge. He learned to manage his emotions, to remain calm, even in the most stressful situations. This was no easy task, but the Wolfman was relentless, determined to overcome. He showed us the power of self-control, of mastering our emotions rather than letting them master us. But perhaps the biggest challenge he faced was himself. He struggled with his identity, torn between his human side and his wolf side. It was a constant battle, a war within himself. But the Wolfman found a way to reconcile the two, to accept himself as he was. He taught us that we shouldn't deny any part of ourselves, that we should embrace every facet of who we are. Despite his challenges, the Wolfman serves as a reminder that we can overcome anything if we put our minds to it. So, when you face your own challenges, remember the Wolfman. Remember his strength, his courage, his resilience, and remember that like him, you too can howl at your challenges and emerge victorious. What can we learn from the Wolfman's history? Well, friends, the first lesson is one of resilience. The Wolfman, despite his unique situation, never let his circumstances deter him from striving to live a fulfilling life. He faced every challenge with tenacity and a never-die spirit. Even when the moon was at its fullest and he was at his furriest, he never lost sight of who he was, his human essence. The second lesson we can glean from the Wolfman's story is about acceptance. He was different, no doubt, but he didn't let societal norms and expectations dictate his self-worth. He embraced his unique nature, showing us that it's okay to be different. We all have our quirks, our peculiarities, and our strengths. The Wolfman teaches us to own them, to love them, to let them define us in our unique ways. Perseverance is the next lesson. The Wolfman faced adversity, fear, and misunderstanding, but he never gave up. He fought against the odds, against the fear of the unknown, and against the prejudice of those who didn't understand him. His story is a testament to the power of perseverance, demonstrating that no matter how dire the circumstances, there's always a way to keep going. Lastly, the Wolfman's history teaches us the importance of empathy. Despite his struggles and the fear he often instilled in others, he never lost his ability to empathize with those around him. Even when others shunned him, he understood their fear and forgave their ignorance, showing us the true meaning of compassion. So as we delve into the history of the Wolfman, we find not just a tale of a man battling his inner beast, but a story of resilience, acceptance, perseverance, and empathy. It's a story that, despite its supernatural elements, is rooted deeply in the human experience. The Wolfman's tale may be wrapped in fur, but the lessons it imparts are as human as they come. So, what does the Wolfman's legacy look like today? From the shadowy corners of folklore to the bright lights of Hollywood, the Wolfman has left his paw prints everywhere. He's more than just a wild-haired character in a horror flick. He's a symbol, an archetype that has captured our collective imagination. His influence is seen in pop culture, from movies to music, from literature to fashion. The Wolfman's enduring appeal lies in his duality, the struggle between the man and the beast within. This conflict, this dance between the civilized and the wild, the known and the unknown, resonates with us all. He's a mirror reflecting our own fears, desires, and the untamed wilderness that exists within each of us. The Wolfman's story is our story. It's a tale that has been told and retold, interpreted and reinterpreted, generation after generation. And there you have it, the tale of the Wolfman, A story of hair-raising adventures, moonlit misadventures, and a legacy that continues to howl across generations.